When we talk about why startups succeed or fail, most people point to product market fit, capital raised, or the strength of the founding team. But beneath all of that lies a deeper foundation: culture and values. Culture is not a side effect of building a company. It is the invisible operating system that determines how people behave, how decisions are made, and how teams perform under pressure. Values are not fluffy words on a wall. They are the principles that shape how your startup navigates the chaos of growth. The truth is, culture will form whether you intentionally define it or not. If you don't take charge, you risk misalignment, dysfunction, and churn. If you do it well, culture becomes your greatest strategic advantage, one that attracts talent, inspires investors, and powers execution. That's why building startup culture and values isn't optional, it's essential. Culture matters because it is the way things get done. Think of it as your company's operating system. It defines how teams collaborate, solve problems, and execute on vision. A strong culture creates consistency in action, even when the company is moving fast and facing constant uncertainty. A strong culture is also a talent magnet. Exceptional people don't just want a paycheck, they want to be part of something meaningful. When your culture reflects authenticity, purpose, and excellence, A players are drawn to it. Investors also pay close attention. They know that culture is a leading indicator of whether your startup can scale sustainably. But culture also carries hidden risks. A weak or toxic culture creates misalignment. Employees pull in different directions, communication breaks down, and dysfunction spreads. This leads to employee churn and, worse, a loss of trust, both internally and externally. Many promising startups have collapsed not because the idea was bad, but because the culture rotted from within. The takeaway here is simple: culture is not decoration, it's the unseen force that determines whether you thrive under pressure or fracture at the seams. Values are often misunderstood. They're not motivational posters with vague slogans. They're the principles that guide every behavior and choice inside your company. For values to matter, they must be authentic, actionable, and memorable. The first principle is to start with authenticity. Values must reflect the genuine beliefs of the founders and the mission of the company. If they are borrowed buzzwords, employees will see through them instantly. The second is to make them actionable. Values should guide daily behaviors and decision making frameworks. For example, a value like customer obsession isn't just a phrase, it's a directive to prioritize customer needs in every decision, from product design to support. The third is to keep them memorable. Simple, clear language ensures employees can internalize them. If values are long winded or jargon filled, they'll never stick. Short, powerful phrases like bias for action, own the outcome, or transparency over politics resonate and guide behavior naturally. Great values are practical tools. They aren't meant to impress outsiders, they're meant to drive alignment inside your company. Defining values is only the first step. The real challenge is embedding them into the daily fabric of your company. Culture isn't created through slideshows, it's built to consistent actions, systems, and rituals. The first rule is lead by example. Founders set the tone. Every decision, every interaction, every trade off communicates your real values. If you preach transparency but make secretive decisions, your team will copy the behavior, not the slogan. The second rule is to bake values into systems. Integrate them into hiring criteria, onboarding processes, performance reviews, and feedback loops. For example, if collaboration is a core value, assess it explicitly during interviews and reward it in performance reviews. The third rule is to create rituals. Rituals reinforce culture in powerful ways. Daily stand ups, retrospectives, demo days, or teen traditions remind people of how you work and why. These rituals make values tangible. The fourth rule is to recognize and reward alignment. What gets recognized gets repeated. Actively celebrate behaviors that embody your values. Public recognition reinforces that values aren't abstract, they're real priorities. Culture is fragile early on. Embedding it intentionally ensures it grows in the right direction as your team scales. As your company grows, culture must evolve without losing its essence. This requires intentional systems and processes. The first is to document everything. Create employee handbooks, cultural manifestos, and codified guidelines that articulate values and behaviors. Documentation ensures clarity as new employees join and prevents cultural drift. The second is to align incentives. Compensation, equity, and promotions must reflect not just performance metrics, but cultural contributions. If someone delivers results but undermines values, rewarding them damages culture. Incentives must reinforce the behaviors you want to see. The third is to evolve thoughtfully. Culture is not static. As your company grows, you'll face new challenges that require adaptation. Revisit your values periodically, but preserve the core principles that define your identity. The fourth is to foster innovation. Great cultures encourage diversity, inclusion, and creative thinking. Innovation thrives in environments where people feel safe to experiment, challenge assumptions, and bring their unique perspectives. As the saying goes, culture eats strategy for breakfast. But the truth is, culture only wins if you intentionally feed it as you scale. The lessons of culture come alive when we look at companies that got it right and those that got it wrong. Netflix is a classic example. Their famous freedom and responsibility culture deck emphasized high performance and autonomy. By trusting employees with freedom and expecting accountability, they attracted top talent and built a culture that powered rapid innovation in streaming. Airbnb built its culture around the core value belong anywhere. This wasn't just marketing, it shaped product design, customer experience, and team dynamics. Their cultural commitment to inclusion became a competitive advantage during global expansion. On the other hand, Uber provides a cautionary tale. Its aggressive early culture drove growth, but it also fostered scandals, toxic behaviors, and leadership crises. Billions in valuation were lost as the company was forced into a costly cultural reset. The lesson is stark. Culture is either your greatest asset or your greatest liability. The difference lies in whether you shape it intentionally or let it drift unchecked. Building startup culture and values is one of the most strategic responsibilities of a founder. It's not an afterthought, it's the foundation of execution, growth, and sustainability. Culture defines how work gets done, how teams align, and how investors perceive your company. Values, when authentic and actionable, provide a compass for every decision. Embedding culture early through leadership, systems, rituals, and recognition ensures it grows in the right direction. Scaling culture with documentation, aligned incentives, thoughtful evolution, and innovation keeps it strong as you grow. The stories of Netflix, Airbnb, and Uber remind us of the stakes. Culture can attract top talent and enable global success, or it can derail a company entirely. The final takeaway is this: culture isn't optional. Whether you define it or not, it will exist. The only question is whether it works for you or against you. As a founder, your job is to shape it intentionally, feed it consistently, and guard it as one of your most valuable assets. Do this well, and culture will not only eat strategy for breakfast, it will fuel your company to thrive for years to come.